Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the GOAT, or the greatest of all Titos, and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of all Titos or uncles around the world. Possibly a few, but definitely not all.
I don't know if you can see the power button of my phone is almost flushed. It still works from time to time, but it's not supposed to be flush. It's supposed to be nakaangat ng konti like this. Yan, nakita niyo siya. The volume rocker. But this one, it's almost flushed. I don't know why. Hassle. So, well, this is the 5th year of this phone. The OnePlus 60. My daily driver, my old faithful. Ang dami nang lumabas na bagong phone sa OnePlus since then. The 60 was that year, 2018, was the last year that OnePlus came out with just one, or well, technically two phones. In this case, it was the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 60, yung T variant, yung kanilang mid-year refresh. And then after that, doon nagkaroon sila ng budget phone, the Nord, and a few more things like the Ace and whatnot. And I think that's what pushed Carl Pei, one of the founders of OnePlus, that pushed him to leave OnePlus and start nothing. The reason why I liked OnePlus, or I like OnePlus, was because at least in my needs, or with my needs, they were able to come up with phones with just the right top of the line features, but not the whole thing. And because of that, they can pull the price of the phone down. So like in this case, this came out 2018 with a Snapdragon 845 chip, which is the top of the line at the time. And OnePlus was the first phone, or the first brand rather, that came out with 2-digit na RAM. No, not 2-digit, but high-spec RAM. Well, eventually the two, pero like in this case, this came out with, this one was the top of the line. It was 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. That was the top of the line back in 2018. I originally wanted the limited edition, the McLaren edition, because that was, I think, 10 or 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. Pero for some reason, when it finally became available in Hong Kong, when I clicked on it, surprise, surprise, out of stock. Anyway, so hey, going back. So this phone is, in terms of Filipino, in Tagalog terms, nanghihingalo na. So it's just a matter of time before this finally conks out. I had a conk out scare once a few weeks ago when the phone lost its battery. Then for some reason, ayaw mag-charge. Because this is the type of phone, when you plug it right away, it kind of vibrates to signify that, okay, yeah, I acknowledge that you plugged me. And it didn't. And for like at least 8 hours, it didn't do anything. So I thought it was a goner. And I switched temporarily to the Huawei P30 Pro, which was my mom's old phone, before my sister gave her an iPhone. I hated the P30 Pro. So I was happy, like 2-3 days after, when I turned the phone on, it turned on. So it lived to see another day. But now it's already starting to show its age. The power button is not as well. It still works, pero nakakatakot na. It's already kind of flushed. It's just a matter of time before it dies. Which leads me to the reason of this video. I am now in search of a new phone. And for my use, I'm sorry boys, but I cannot get an iPhone. Not because I'm an Apple hater. I love Apple products. If it weren't for the price, I would have easily gotten a Mac as a computer. this three-year-old desktop that I'm working with still works like a charm. So medyo hindi ko rin ma-justify bumili ng Mac Mini na base model, even if it is the cheapest Mac that you could get right now at 36,000 pesos. What? Sipin mo yun. M2 base model na Mac Mini. So it's like the latest chip, the base model. You can get a Mac at 36,000 pesos. Insane. I mean, albeit you have to have a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard, but who doesn't, diba? So, sayang. Anyway, so yeah, I cannot work with an iPhone. There are a lot of apps that I use on the daily that don't work well, or at least it works better on Android. As you all know, I edit my videos using a phone. Hindi pa ako ganun ka-komportable to edit with Premiere Pro daily. It takes up too much of my time. And yeah, inShot, the software that I'm using, works so much faster in Android. Sa iPhone, or at least sa iOS. I tried it kasi to edit on my iPad. The fact that you can, when you download the files, sabihin na natin, kasi when it downloads the files, like this camera that I'm using, it downloads the files from the camera to the iPad in files, not even sa gallery yet. It's an extra step to go. You have to go to files and then save to gallery, because inShot only accesses the files in gallery. So imagine, even like example, other files, if I have files on my computer that I upload onto Google Drive, like videos or pictures or whatnot, I would need to from Google Drive, I would need to download and save it to files, then go to files separately, then save to gallery. So isipin mo the extra step that I need to. So out of the question, sorry boys, Android talaga. And now that Google has already announced their official foldable, that means they will officially come out with a version of Android that is fit for foldables. So now the other third-party phone manufacturers who use Android can now benefit from that software. So now I am looking at 3 or 4 phones, foldable phones, that can take the place of my 60. And we're gonna discuss that right now. So first up to bat is si sobrang sikat, si sobrang tried and tested, the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Mag 1-year-old na yung Fold 4 in a few months, maglalabas na yung Fold 5. Looking at the specs, medyo magandang contender ang Fold 5. If it were going to be normally the same price as what the Fold 4 is when it launched, we are looking somewhere between 98 to like 100 plus thousand pesos. Sobrang steep. But at least the specs will justify it. Pero as a Tito, you have to be practical din eh. Why would you shell that much money for a phone that will only last, what, 3, 4, 5 years? And you need to replace it. So parang if you try to justify the math for like 100,000 pesos, 5 years, so in 1 year, nag-depreciate na kagad yung value niya by 20,000 pesos. By a price of a mid-range phone. Anyway, so looking at the specs of the Galaxy Fold 5 or Fold 4, sige, let's compare that to the 4 kasi yun pala yung definite. Maayos siya. Next up is the newly announced Google Pixel Fold. The Pixel Fold is, I should say, the gold standard, lalo na kasi since Google made it, the software will need to be optimized for foldables. So, siyempre, specs na nga nila, technology na nila, software pa nila, medyo no-brainer din. Yun nga lang, medyo rin, may pagka-pricey din ang ang Google Fold. Pixel Fold, rather. And last but not the least, I am looking at the OnePlus V Fold, which currently is like rumored pa lang kasi hindi pa officially na-announce ni OnePlus. But knowing OnePlus, kasi nga sister company sila ng Oppo, it's going to have the same specs as probably the Oppo Find N2, yung foldable ni Oppo. So medyo siguro maging kahawig din yung form factor and then the software. And the specs. So, we're gonna base the specs of the upcoming OnePlus V Fold to the Oppo Find N2. I am really hoping na si OnePlus mag-release na sila. And if it were any indication, yung OnePlus Fold na magiging pinakamura. With the same specs, na sa tamang pwesto lang, kasi dito have the best specs else. And, number one, yung pinakamaganda kasi ni OnePlus is yung charging. That was the number one reason why I got the OnePlus 6T. Yung fast charging niya. Isipin mo, si Google, the Pixel Fold, in 2023, is using 21 watts of wired charging. 21 watts, yun ang charging na ginagamit ng OnePlus in 2018. Tapos ang wireless pa ni Pixel Fold is 7.5. Insane. At least si Oppo, 65 watts. Si Samsung, mas mabilis ka lang ng konti. Pero, so spec for spec, may pros and cons tayo among the three. It will totally depend. Siguro ang number one pick ko talaga is the OnePlus V Fold. And my number two would probably be the Fold 5. The Google Fold. The Google Pixel Fold. May potential siya, but like what I said in my previous video, not yet. Siyempre, pag first generation pa lang ng gadget na, medyo marami pang flaws. So, siguro sa second or third generation na. If I don't get either the Galaxy or the OnePlus V Fold 10. Who knows? We'll find out soon. So, again, sadly, we were not able to get our blood work done kasi umulan ng malakas when I woke up. We were supposed to do it tomorrow or when this video goes live, but my mom said she can't, so we're gonna go on Saturday to have our blood work. Anyway, tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman. I did a deadlift session today as my workout, and for my meals I had granola, a little bit of cereal for my breakfast. My lunch I had chicken, yung tirang lechon manok from the previous night. And for dinner, we had KFC because my nephew came over for some homework. We had KFC for dinner, and I had lettuce. I paired it with lettuce. So, the measurement, I will start measuring myself probably tomorrow. Hindi ko mahanap yung aking measuring tape. That's it for today's video. Catch you again tomorrow. Hit me up in the comments below what you think. What phone do you think I should get and why? That's it. Bye.